are these podcasts? WATP.
So Louis J. Gomez was performing in Janesville, Wisconsin, the Comedy Cabin. It's a comedy club there at a strip mall, but it's a nice club. It's in the basement. It looks pretty good. It looks kind of like a friend's parents' basement, you might say, but it's a nice small venue, intimate venue, and he was there for 2 shows, 2 nights and 3 shows. And we had a little bit of a beef. I had submitted for a competition months ago for the rap podcast, and the competition was never followed up with. So Blind Mike Geary had attempted to get some attention on Twitter with me, and that didn't follow through. I was emailing the producers. I couldn't get a response. And at the end of that, the only thing we can do is just confront him in person.
Dude,
so we were able to do that.
vetoed you.
In a way, it is a little strange how often that's happening to me and the people that it is. Some people reach out to me, and I would say that they should be more difficult to reach. But regardless, we went up there and we just reported on the show. The owner was I didn't send you one of these clips, but it was a little funny because the owner at first was concerned that we were reporting on something from the night before.
Oh,
so he was really concerned, right? And he was like, the people who are working just told me there are people out here with cameras reporting on something, so I just wanted to make sure. But then as the night went on, I think, although he was relaxed at first, he was just starting to get annoyed that we were out there. Anyway, but we went out there, and then we were able to ask Louis J. Gomez, I do just have why don't we just play clip 1? I have a little introduction. This would have saved me some speaking.
All right.
Hey there. I'm David Collins, host of David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show, and we're here outside the Comedy Cabin in Janesville, Wisconsin, for a comedy show. The comedy show is for comedian Louis J. Gomez. We've also gone ahead and reached out to Carl Hamburger of Who Are the Podcasts, and we're going to be doing a bit of a WATP collaboration today.
All right. I'm excited about this.
And then we could just go right into the second clip is just a tie-in.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why we decided to kind of collaborate with Carl Hamburger of Who Are the Podcasts, he has some experience with, he has some prior experience with Louis J. Gomez, so they know each other and they're familiar. Also, Carl Hamburger sent me an email and wanted me to ask you some questions, but they were all very rude, so I didn't...
I don't know Carl Hamburger.
Oh, of WATP of Who Are the Podcasts.
Yeah, I know Carl.
He thought, yeah.
I his girlfriend.
Yes. And that's what he said. He said he had some sort of prior relationship, so they thought it might be something...
On camera, we his girlfriend.
Wow.
Because they wouldn't talk shit about us on the podcast, and I refuse to not be talked shit about.
But also, I'll be appearing on WATP next week.
Right now.
Now, the rumor is the episode of Rap where Lewis, my girlfriend, and I did something to Doug from Who's Right, too, because he was on the show that we reviewed Rap with. And apparently, Shane Gillis was on that episode, and they had to scrub it from the internet when Shane Gillis got the SNL job and everyone was looking for things to be pissed at him about. So that episode no longer exists on YouTube. Is that correct, David?
Oh, well, of course, they don't have anything on YouTube months later. It all goes behind their paywall.
Oh,
but
okay.
it was even scrubbed from their paywall content. And it might have just been uploaded within the last few weeks, actually. Jerry was doing a little research on this for me.
Oh, great. Okay. Very good. So that's fun. Yes, we do have a little bit of a history with Lewis. Remember, he called into our voicemail line and said, if you don't fucking review me or review all these other shows, you're not going to review me. You don't have the balls to review me. So we did. And pretty much just piled on Zach and Miko. But that's how I remember it anyway.
Right. Well, we do these sometimes. We go to a comedy show or a festival or a movie premiere or something, and we like to talk to audience members as they're going into the show and then as they're leaving and things. And in this case, we also took the opportunity to try to ask some of those audience members about Who Are the Podcasts, but that didn't really work out too well. In this case, you'll see clip 2.5 there.
Okay.
Do you watch Who Are the Podcasts? Carl Hamburger.
Not familiar.
Okay. Are you familiar with the show Who Are the Podcasts?
Which ones?
With Carl Hamburger.
Oh, no.
Oh, anyway, well, he has a former relationship with Louis J. Gomez. Do you know Blind Mike Geary?
Yes.
Of the Blind Mike Project.
Of course.
I wonder if we'll run into anybody here that even knows WATP. Really just have to wait here. I wonder if anybody's even coming to the show.
Sweet deal.
Great. Well, we're out here. Are you familiar with the show Who Are the Podcasts?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. Should be a great show. Do you watch Who Are the Podcasts?
What?
Do you know the show Who Are the Podcasts?
I do know who y'all are. I think I know who y'all are.
Oh, well, I'm unaffiliated, but are you familiar with the show Who Are the Podcasts?
Like podcasts that I listen to?
No, it's a show. This is turning into a disaster. Carl wanted us to do some sort of collaboration. I thought more people knew his show.
Not Who Are These Podcasts?
Oh, right.
Oh, that's what it is?
That's right. Who Are These Podcasts?
All right. All right. I'll listen to
I'll be on there next week.
Sweet.
And we'll be talking about this show.
What's your name?
David Collins.
David.
Of David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show.
Okay. Let me put that in.
This is a fucking hit piece, man. This is some bullshit right here. I think there's some selective editing going on.
Oh no, what we
on
wanted
this show.
we're trying to deliver it as is, and we were out there all night. I was doing my best, but very few people, and it must just be the region there.
We don't do really well in Wisconsin. That's true. Not our bread and butter.
Which is strange. You guys have similar basements.
That's true. That's a good point.
You wouldn't believe the American fleet. I don't have any clips of this. Most of these cars that showed up to this show had American flags on the back, or big ones sticking out, or people had, even my camera guy had an American flag tattoo on his leg. Wisconsin's very American.
That's good. I'm glad to see that the pride and the Patriots are out there representing for this country. A lot of MAGA hats, I imagine.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, okay.
It was very patriotic.
All
And then,
right.
of course, we were able to get Louis J. Gomez to speak with us a little bit. It was he was pretty cold at first, but we said the right thing and kind of barked him over to us, and got to talk to him for about 20 minutes on and off over the course of the night. But, during some of that time, I was able to ask him some of the questions that you wrote.
Oh,
and that
great.
started clip 3 there.
Well, I'm excited about this.
This is so interesting that I wanted to ask you here, and I'm just a little but I'm actually. Carl asked me to come on the show next week, and I said, I'm doing this thing at Louis J. Gomez's show. Yeah. Maybe I'll have something. He says, well, I have a former relationship. That'd be interesting. So he sent me these, and I said, now I have something to bring to the show when I go on Who Are the Podcasts there. I've had to kind of reframe some of these.
What did Carl say? Carl Hamburger says you're a pussy.
I had to rewrite these.
Is that reframed?
It's reframed because he said, why are you a pussy?
Why am I a pussy? So that was a question. He just says that I'm a pussy. So you recognize that wasn't even a question.
No, he asked the question. I reframed this for my own notes here.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, your questions that you wrote for the show, of course, they're very adversarial.
They were a bit adversarial. You're right about that. I haven't been invited to a Skank Fest, so I'm a little bitter about it. So.
Oh, well, that's perfect. That's what this next clip here addresses.
Oh, great.
Okay. Claims you refuse to include his show at your comedy festival.
Right. He wants WATP to be at Skankfest. I'm not really sure. He does music.
Asked.
His band might do ska.
He's never asked. Ska sucks. I don't even know if I can name that many ska bands. I know Ian Fidance likes ska, and that's enough for me to hate.
Okay, well, he's somebody that's ignored us on all social medias, too.
Good, exactly. Good. Claimed you refuse to include a show. Yeah, so he's never asked to be on Skankfest. We probably wouldn't include him, but regardless, the way to go about it wouldn't be sending these weirdos to ask me this question.
Well, I brought it up to him, in a way.
And he makes a good point.
This was not my strategy to get on Skankfest. You asked me what questions to ask Lewis.
I see.
All right.
There's the answer.
There it is. Fair enough.
Maybe an email. Although I found it's very difficult to email him. You really just have to go find him in person.
Yeah, apparently, if you want to have a conversation with him, I've successfully DM'd with him a few times, but I imagine his Twitter is probably pretty busy these days.
Even later in the night, I said, David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show. He said, send me a link. I said, I'm here right now because I can't send you anything more.
Right, yes. I drove all the way from Iowa to talk to you. This is not an efficient way to communicate, but this is what I got to do.
Right. Well, he's around.
All right, we got one more clip on here?
I think we have one more clip here, wrapping up talking about WATP with Louis J. Gomez.
All right.
Lack of diversity, I guess. That's not true. Godfrey.
And I thought you'll notice that
Maddie Smith.
I actually wrote for you. Are you aware that they do a festival?
The Puerto Rican Rattlesnake, Louis J. Gomez.
The DabbleCon festival of some sort, and I don't know really too much about it, but Carl had commissioned me to write for that roast, which was very fun. But one of the jokes that I had written for that roast was commenting how there was no diversity on that roast.
There's probably no diversity on that.
So it was interesting for him to target you for
me
that.
To call me out for diversity when I have a very diverse network.
That's exactly right.
No need for apologies. Derek Gaines and Dave Temple, 2 blacks.
Wow.
A couple Jews, Dave Smith, Big J. Okerson.
Does that count?
I think it counts. I think at this point they're
especially this
they're
year.
considered the lowest form of humanity. So
yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Mm-hmm. And Jerry sends me these clips of the rap podcast, and that's what I really see. And they always seems to be a wide range of guests. And even I have a lot of trouble getting women guests on the show.
Fucking blacks, Puerto Ricans, Latinos, Jews, we got them all.
Right.
We are really diverse.
All right, Lewis, you've convinced me. You have enough diversity on your network.
There we are.
It's all good.
So on-the-ground reporting there and getting to the bottom of it. A very diverse network.
Well, thank you, David, for being, I guess, the megaphone for Who Are These Podcasts Thank God. Getting the word out there. I'm glad
that
you
would be
learned.
serendipitous to end up being a correspondent for your show in lieu of not making it a correspondent for his show.
Well, I would appreciate if you learn the name of our show. That'd be helpful, probably. So
Right. You know, it says it right there. It's a lot easier when it's in front of me.
right, yeah. So I'd say as far as the audition goes, well, our people will get back to your people. Don't reach out. We'll be reviewing this.
Who are these podcasts? WATP.